As surely as I'm speaking by the Spirit of God, that is a word for a person right now. That is God penetrating your heart. It's burning on the inside of you, and you need to make a vow of faith of $1,000. Oh, Bob, couldn't you say 25? No! You can't make a $1,000 vow of faith. I'm saying in
Religion is a touchy subject. There is a reason nobody brings it up in school, in the workplace, or anywhere in general. Our beliefs vary, and not everyone can accept one another's viewpoints. But this story isn't exactly about religion. This story is about greed, exploitation, and lies. This is Robert Tilton, a televangelist who has been actively emptying people's wallets since the early 80s. A televangelist is a person who preaches in the name of a religious figure, extradites money from worshippers to keep them in good faith of God. The most popular form of practice among televangelists is seed faith. This means that financial blessing and faith, but more importantly tangible donations to religious causes, will increase one's material wealth. Now, Robert Tilton did try to defend his honor, but I'm gonna spoil it. We didn't hear, and I'm sorry I took all of your money.
I am addressing an all-out, slanderous, lying media attack. It's sweeps week. I rise up early, 5:30, depending on how late I went to bed the night before, and I have to exercise and I have to take my vitamins. I laid on top of those prayer requests so much that the chemicals actually got into my bloodstream, began to swell my capillaries, and I'm sure...
Okay, this is not defending. This is some serious Spider-Man shit. So we don't really get to hear him apologize, so let's move on.
On behalf of Bob and Marty, thanks for joining us, and God bless you.
In the case of Creflo Dollar, he used his followers' money to purchase a $65 million private jet. He blamed evil forces and the devil for the criticism he got.
I can believe God as long as I want to. If I want to believe God for a $65 million plane, you cannot stop me. You cannot stop me from dreaming. Now you see why the devil tried so aggressively to discredit my voice. Creflo Dollar asking his members for $65 million. I ain't never asked you for a dime.
Really? You didn't ask for a dime?
We are believing for 200,000 people to give contributions of $300 or more.
It's no secret that I suck at math, but hear me out. If 200,000 times 300 is 60 million, I think you're pretty close.
We'd be able to acquire this jet in a very, very short period of time. But any contribution...
Churches and religious organizations are generally exempt from income tax and receive other favorable treatment under the tax law. Also, the IRS makes no attempt to evaluate the content of whatever doctrine a particular organization claims is religious, provided the particular beliefs of the organization are truly and sincerely held by those professing them, and the practices and rites associated with the organization's beliefs or creed are not illegal or contrary to clearly defined. This means they don't really care. So basically, whatever money you make as a televangelist, none of it can be taxed as you keep it as is. Probably that's how Kenneth Copeland could stay in his house in Newark, Texas, along with his own airport, shooting, and golf range, all worth way over tens of millions of dollars.
How are you, sir? Why have you said that you won't fly commercial? You said that it's like getting into a tube with a bunch of demons. How much money did you pay for Tyler Perry's Gulfstream jet, for example?
Well, for example, that's really none of your business.
You said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood.
A lot of people maybe have a misunderstanding then about what you do in prosperity preaching. So the final question is this. To those critics that say that a preacher should not be living a life of luxury, what is your response to that?
They're wrong.
Now it's obvious that these so-called pastors are building their lies on already existing religions. For the sake of bashing a little bit more on these liars, I set up an interview with an actual Christian pastor in Australia. Alright, so what do you think of the way this man is approaching religion?
I found it's always very aggressive, like a salesman who's trying to get me to buy something I don't need.
Churches ask for monetary donations during their services. However, these donations received would normally go back into the church. Now, what do you make of the people that still ask for that money, but buy private jets and mansions?
It's disappointing. No one using someone's beliefs against them, lying and affording them. They promise a path to God, but instead they buy, chasing cars for themselves.
And finally, would you recommend me setting up my own church and potentially lying my way to the top to become rich and famous?
No. For reasons I said before, it's not a moral thing to do. I'd actually advise you not to.
After seeing how far fraud, lies, corruption, and greed can get someone, I've decided to set up my own religious organization. What could possibly go wrong? Over the past few weeks, I've been filing paperwork with the IRS, and it should be today that it gets finalized. But what exactly goes into establishing your own church? First, we need to set up a distinct legal entity. This case, we register Bum Place in Omaha. We would also need a recognized creed and form of worship. For this, I invite all of you to come together and praise the government that somehow all this is legal. An established place of worship, to which I chose the former campus of South Tech.